This is reposted.
Today, we're joined by Brian Patacca. He helps creative people get what they want without suffering. He's a life, career, and business coach. He's a graduate from Northwestern University. Shout out Chicago. He works with creative people one-on-one in small groups and online courses, and through his highly engaging Facebook groups. You can follow him on Instagram at Brian with an I says that, Brian says that, or tune into his Facebook group for spiritual creatives, Brian's Breakfast Club. We came across you because I attended one of your seminars about finding an agent. And I have to say, I told you this in the email, but you're the only thing in LA that I've ever done that started exactly on time. And I fell in love with you instantly because you did that. So thank you again. I've been in LA for 6 years. That was the first thing that ever started on time.
I value people's time. I think that's one of it's one of the things that we have while we're here, and so it's really important to me that I start on time. Also, I kind of want the people who showed up at 9:01 to feel a little bit embarrassed or a little bit shamed or a little bit like, shit, I missed something, right? I want them to feel like I should have been here at the beginning, and like, cool. I think it adds to their experience to be like hypes them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so rather than like being like, you're a dumbass for being late. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I will say that. I'll say I'll just keep on going, and I just feel like those people have a different experience than the ones who are on time, whatever.
Well, anyway, I want to start off with a quote today from Maya Angelou. She says, "When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed." I really like this for you specifically because you do these free learning tools for people, which I've benefited from, and I can attest personally that you presented cheerfully the entire time, and I accepted gratefully. So, what do you think about this quote?
What I think is interesting is I don't think we often, if my puppy gets barky, we'll get rid of him. What I like what you say here, what she says here is we give cheerfully. And I think sometimes we just think about giving as like, yeah, I gave it to them, or like it was their birthday and I gave a present, or I showed up for them. And like, it doesn't necessarily add that idea of cheerful to it. Like it might be just more happenstance, or it might be like, oh, I gave them a present. It was nice. And like, or whatever. Giving doesn't always have to be a present. I want to make sure we're clear. This can also be like listening to someone, right? Mm-hmm. And there's some, I think, motivation or energy around giving cheerfully. So almost you can seek out the opportunities to give, seek out opportunities to wake people up. I'll say that in my own life, I talk about this all the time, and there's probably something wrong with me and I should be committed for this. But like when I read a book or I read the newspaper or I see something on television or whatever, I'm always thinking about how am I going to bring this to the people that are in my community, more than I'm thinking about like, what is it doing for me? I'm almost there, almost in front of me. I guess you would think about the way that someone thinks about their children or something, not that they're kids, but that I'm thinking about how do I translate this into a way to share it with people. And I think that might be kind of a perspective to grab onto in life almost, is that you get to share in that way.
And speaking of giving, you work with creative people, and it seems like creative people are almost giving their soul to whatever they're doing. How do you tread lightly with someone who's a creative person to sort of shepherd them to get out whatever they're trying to get out?
Sometimes I don't tread lightly. Sometimes I have to say, what you need is discipline. You're not being disciplined in this, and you're sitting on your feet and you're sitting on your hands and you're playing small. And sometimes I do tread lightly because we can also I'm afraid to put it out there. And part of where I come from is really related to what I just said before, which is you are selfishly underserving the people that you want to impact if you are sitting in your own thoughts around I can't put this out into the world. You are literally being selfish because the people who, if you take the focus off of you and on the focus of, who do I want to impact when they see this painting, this play, this short, this sketch, this stand-up routine, this book, whatever, how do I want to impact? If you can get your focus off of you and onto them, it suddenly alleviates some of the pressure, I think, because it gets out of your way. One of the ways that I interact with that in my own business is I know when I've stared at my emails often are more like blog posts. And when I'm writing an email and I'm like really focusing on like, this period should be here and this should, and I go, okay, Brian, you've gone crazy. This is not about them anymore. This is somehow about the way you want to look and the other end of this, and you need to walk away from it. Even so far as like, if I do a Facebook Live with someone, if I'm like fixing all the light and I get a little too deep into that, I need to back off and go, whoa, this is not about them. This is suddenly about me. And so what, I guess my answer to your question is, it's very case by case. Obviously, if someone's coming to you with tears in your eyes, I'm like, bitch, you need to work harder, right? So the energy has to be coming off of the moment. You have to serve them where they are. And so when someone comes in that way, of course, we're going to expand. And also there's this tricky thing around, I think creatives sometimes think they need to know the entire idea before they can get started, or know what it's going to be before you can get started. And if I could take out a billboard all around the world, and it was magical. It would just say, just start, because I think as you put yourself into action, something else happens. Like the next thought comes, the next, I believe there's very little value in thinking. Philosophers would probably hate me for saying that. And there's a lot of value in doing. And I think you learn so much more by doing. Even if you fail, even if you never show it to anybody, that the doing is going to reveal to you more to you than the thinking about it. So
I just had a mini celebration when you said just do it, because that's what I say a lot on the show. And Larry and I kind of disagree on that principle. But like,
I like that you disagree. I love that.
We disagree on a lot, which maybe makes the show better or worse. I'm not sure yet. But I mean, that was my philosophy on the show. Let's start it, and then we're going to figure out what it is down the road. But I guess I think actors are their own companies. So like, if this applies not only to actors, but like, what does that mean for actors to start creating? Is it, because I think a lot of people wait, say, once I book this national commercial, I'll have enough money to X, Y, and Z. And I say to actors, just start making something, and you don't know what will come from it. So, I mean, does that resonate with you?
It resonates with me for a few reasons. One is that acting this is what didn't happen. What didn't happen is you didn't get the message from the universe. I'm going to be a little woo-woo with you guys here to say, be an actor, or you like experienced acting and you're like, this is what I'm meant to do, and go, and by the way, there's a fatty paycheck coming. Like, that's not how you got the message. The message was, whoa, when I'm acting, I feel more at home on this planet and less like an alien. I feel more like I'm in the person I'm supposed to be. And so the money, I think, is one of the things that can corrupt art for yourself. I don't worry about corruption. I mean, like, for yourself, corrupting your art, right? And so I think it's important that we have a relationship with both having agency for yourself, like not just working for free all the time, and also, just like you said, creating something so that you're doing the art for the art's sake. And a lot of times some actors can get that from just being an acting class or whatever. Like, you can, like, that can be your experience of like working those muscles. And, you know, you think about like Van Gogh's, I've like studied Van Gogh's life because I've been very captivated by the whole thing. And, you know, he cut off his ear and killed himself when he could no longer paint anymore. And he did not go out to paint a painting going, I can't wait till this hangs in the Louvre. That's why I'm painting this painting today. He painted because he had to paint. And so I think we have to steal from other art forms sometimes to keep us out of our insanity around driving toward a bottom line, which is not to say that I don't believe I do believe you should be paid for your art. I think that art changes the world, and people deserve to be paid. And I'm a real big advocate for actors having agency for themselves. And I think right now, with what's going on in the world, that's a time that we're even called more to have agency for yourself, because you're going to go to a set and you'll be like, is everyone wearing a mask? Is everyone wearing gloves? What's going on? Like, how do we do it? Like, is my lunch going to be delivered? And so you have to like fend for yourself. I think the business has suddenly been told you have to be worried about actors' health on your sets, which I think is a really interesting new dynamic, which I think they weren't necessarily that wasn't the headline necessarily in the past. Yeah.
So, because you brought up the woo-woo, I feel like maybe we should stay in the woo-woo for a second.
Yeah.
You have a business about leadership. You're talking about focus. You even talk about relationships, but you also talk about starting a conversation with the universe. What does that mean? What does that mean? Dude,
I can't tell you. You need to go to church. Okay, so let me be clear. You need Jesus. Okay, so to me, I'm going to steal from a couple religions first. So I'm a spiritual practitioner. I'm on my way to being certified as a reverend, non-denominational. So all religions and no religions is the best way to think about that. Thank you. Larry's clapping, you guys. I can see him right now. So you need to know. So no to religions and all religions is the way to think, right? So one of the thoughts that I believe is from Judaism, and it might also from Buddhism in a different way, is the small, still voice for God. And so whatever the word God means to you, you might say universe, you might say Mother Earth, you might say source, you might say Oprah, whatever God means to you. We don't often hear that voice when we're running around, when we're just doing all the things, right? And so I always think that it is important to have some practice in your life where you listen to your dang intuition. Because I think whenever you're creative, creativity isn't the thing where you're like, I really love money, I'm going to be an actor. That's not usually how it comes to you. Or I really love money, I'm going to be a painter. That's not how it came to you. And so whatever that thing that brought you to acting, whether that you felt that in words, you felt that in your body, you felt that in a message, I can't tell. I don't know how your revelation, you experience your own revelation. We sometimes will get that revelation, be an actor. And then the next thing is, okay, now where do I go get headshots? And where did you get your headshots? And how should I get this? What school do I go to? And what are the managers? And what cast are? And it's all outside. And we lose that internal compass that actually called us to it in the first place. And the universe isn't going to go, be an actor. See ya. figure it out. Like, it is there for you to rely on and to conspire with you. And so I think it's important that, yes, hear from people. These are the good acting studios. These are the good headshot places. And then get quiet and go, okay, great. I'm kind of deciding with yourself. This is like talking to yourself a little bit. I'm trying to decide between these two acting schools. Here's what I liked about this one. Here's what I liked about this one. And then just kind of posing the question, what do we think? And let your body, the energy, whatever word you want to use, give you an answer there. And I think the trick to spirituality in many ways is believing that the information you hear is reasonable instead of writing it off. So suddenly you'll be like, wow, I really thought I wanted to go to Kelly's acting class, but for some reason I keep thinking about John.
Yeah, John.
So it just kind of gives you like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'm gonna, like, to be able to trust it is like a very scary world of faith, or I think in some ways, or trust in some ways. Did that answer the question, Larry?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So to bring it back to the quote, this was one of the most cheerful episodes we've ever had. If you guys want more cheer, you can find Brian on Instagram at Brian Says That. Check out his Facebook group for spiritual creatives, Brian's Breakfast Club. I'm Andrew Keller for Larry and Brian saying, thanks for stopping by.